You know what? Telling y'all the truth always get me in some trouble. Why we did that live, I think it was yesterday, talking about how a real woman won't repeat herself, but so many times. Like at some point, she gonna show you better than she could tell you. And man, my inbox blew up. My inbox blew up. And one of the guys, I mean, it was a couple of them that kind of had a similar sentiment, but basically the premise was, man, what about when a woman just discards because she feels like she can do better? Let me say this. There are situations where a woman may abandon you because, yeah, she wasn't all in. She wasn't in it for the right reasons, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying that does not exist. What I'm saying is, and this is specific to those of y'all that actually have a real one in your corner. Okay, this ain't for those of y'all that went out here looking for a woman, trying to pitch to her that you could save her from her messed up, desperate situation. This ain't for those of you dudes out there that was using your money to flash it all around and now you mad that you got yourself a gold digger. That's what you was fishing for. That's what you got. But for those of y'all who got a real one in your corner because you presented something that a real woman would want, a good man, all I'm trying to tell you is never get to the point where you feel like she ain't going nowhere. Never treat that real woman like she cannot leave you, like she'll never stand on boundaries. Like she'll never choose herself. If you make her choose between herself and you, like, I don't know what else can get it through y'all head. It's not discard. By the way, let's just deal with that. Cause you know, a lot of folks, they watching all of these videos and they reading these books, and I can appreciate that the language is there to talk about things like manipulation and discard, but don't misuse it. Because it's not discard if that woman gave you multiple chances to understand how she felt. I'm really directing this towards my brothers, but I need my sisters out there to substantiate what I'm saying out of the comments. If I'm speaking facts, you let me know I'm speaking facts. A dude will literally push you away and then act like you gave up on him. He'll push you away. He'll ignore you. He'll act like you talking to yourself, act like you're speaking a whole other language. And then whenever you finally say enough is enough, he'll talk, he'll cry, he'll play victim as if you just gave up on a relationship. Contrary to popular belief, real women actually have a much harder time leaving a man that she truly loves and believes in than every other woman. Real women that wanted something real women that wanted something long term. Like really walking away from a relationship is a struggle for a real woman because it feels too much like giving up. And that's something she didn't do coming up in life. That's something, you see, when you got a sister that, you know, had everything given to her, you know what I'm saying? Just the red carpet just rolled out for her. Guess what? She could give up and somebody got her. Somebody else gonna always make sure that life is just easy, you know, breezy for her, no problem. Or she, you know, she take money for every little thing. She'll sell her soul, her dignity. She'll sell whatever. When you got yourself a real woman that had to earn her way through life, even if she could go out here and finesse dudes and lie and manipulate, even if she had somebody offering a silver spoon, if you got a woman that really earned her way, man, she developed an ability to persevere and to not give up. And it's hard to just switch that program. So contrary to popular belief, when a real woman leaves you, I'm talking about the woman that held you down, had your back, you know, gave you a shoulder to cry on, didn't judge you for needing to cry sometimes, saw you at your best, saw you at your worst, and still treated you with respect, even sometimes when you didn't really deserve it, because at your lowest, you was trying to bring her down too. When you got a woman like that, it's actually very difficult for that woman to leave you. The problem is whenever you confuse difficult with impossible. When you confuse difficult with impossible, like, man, she ain't going nowhere. And you see, that's the funny thing about how we always talk about TV, movies, etc., then gave women these unrealistic expectations. But we don't talk about how it did the same thing to men. So we like to talk about how, oh, you know, every man ain't gonna be doing all this romantic stuff. That's in the movies. Every man ain't gonna be 6'5" and make six figures and da-da-da. That's in the movies. We don't talk about how we got unrealistic expectations that a woman is going to ride or die. Like that's crazy. First off, not a woman that loves herself. She going to ride or die. No, she's not going to ride or die. Like why is that? Why are those options? We see these movies and stuff. We see a woman just hanging around, waiting for a man to come back around. He did all this dirt. But as soon as he talked to his grandmama, as soon as he go to church, he can come back around after all of the trauma he done put her through, and she going to be right there waiting for him to prove himself all over again. No. There's a such thing as too little, too late. Even if you're doing a lot, it's still too little, too late. The fact that it's too late makes it too little. Like, don't get to a point. You see, we don't like that though. We like to think of. I think I heard it yesterday. Oh, women only love dogs unconditionally. Nobody loves men unconditionally. And I talked about it yesterday as well. Well, it's not that we love women so unconditionally, but one thing's for sure, two things for certain. We don't respect women unconditionally. We don't prioritize women unconditionally. We apparently need all of these different conditions and things like that. So we understand conditions. Let's not play stupid is basically what I'm saying. Any dude got in my inbox mad because I'm sitting here letting you know and forewarning you so you don't have to learn the hard way. If you got a real one, she will eventually choose herself over you if you make her choose between the two. Essentially, to choose you, you made her lose herself. That's what I'm saying. If you put a real woman in that position, guess what? She's going to leave. If you give her the notion, she ain't going nowhere. Guess what? Your days are numbered, buddy. Your days are numbered. She ain't going nowhere. Don't act like a real woman can't leave you. Soon as she get that notion that you done got real comfortable playing in her face. And you know, we always wonder, like I think we get this false sense of security from a woman's loyalty. Like it's very, it can be deceptive to an immature mind when a woman is truly hyper-focused, tunnel vision on a relationship on you because you think, I ain't got no competition. She ain't got no man on her line. She's still letting her phone just be around. She don't hide her phone. She still, let me know where she going. She still got her location on. Y'all, this is how it goes. And it can really get confusing to an immature mind because we think because there's not another man that's currently in the running for her heart, well, I must be safe to be complacent. Here's the thing, though. When a real woman is thinking about whether or not this relationship is right for her, she's not thinking comparing you strictly to other men. She may, but that's really not number one. A real woman is always going to compare you to her peace. How are you compared to her peace? Do you help facilitate that peace? Do you help increase that peace? Do you give her more safety and security in a relationship? Does she feel more safety and security when she thinks about you and her future? Or do you conflict with that? Do you come up against that? Or are you a threat to her peace? The peace that she had before she met you. That's who you in the running with. Oh, well, like she ain't got no. And so you feel discarded because you didn't take her seriously. There's a huge difference between discard and she just wiped her hands with you, just abandoned you, and you didn't take her seriously when she was telling you, hey, look, I can't do this too much more. I can't keep going through this. There's a huge difference. You can't blame her for you not taking her seriously. And when you get a man that sit there and blame you for walking out so soon, all of a sudden giving up, et cetera, that's just the man letting you know you're responsible for him thinking that you was playing and that you wasn't going nowhere. That's what he's basically trying to tell you. Of course, it's a lie. And any man that gets mad at that, just think about it like this. You pay your car note for a reason. Because you know if you don't pay your car note, they're going to come get it, right? If you ain't got a car note, well, you keep your oil change. Why? Because you know if you don't keep your oil change in your car, eventually the engine going to mess up. It's going to shut down. You're going to blow a gasket. Something's going to happen, right? It's going to lock up if you ain't got no oil in there. You put gas in your car. Why? Because you know you can't drive unless you eventually your car is going to stop going. Like we understand these concepts of if I don't deposit what's necessary, if I don't do the work that's necessary, I'm going to lose access to this particular thing, this service, this benefit. We understand that in every other aspect of life. But then we want a whole human being, a woman with a spirit, with an intuition to come in and give her a heart, leave her mental health subject to what decisions that we make and say, give me that no matter what I do or don't do, no matter how I ignore you, disrespect you, no matter how much I put my needs first and yours last or yours never. And it's funny because at the same time as brothers, and I say this with love, I got nothing but love for my brothers, man. I'm not against you. I'm one of you. But how are we claiming to be such logical human beings and logical standard, and women are the emotional ones, doing the most illogical or making the most illogical decisions and getting mad whenever she stand on business? And it's such a strange thing to us because, again, you get so wrapped up in the loving, loyal, and all-in version of her that you don't know that cold gangster version, it still exists. It still exists. Like, you're not going to believe your woman is really out here ignoring these dudes until you become one of the dudes that she's now ignoring. You're not going to believe it. You're going to think she's playing. You just going to have a hard time believing that she's with you by choice. Not necessity, not I can't live without you, literally. Of course you want your woman to value and desire you, but I'm talking about like, she's with you by choice. But guess what? She can always make another choice. If you make the choice to treat what she's saying and the opportunity that she's giving you like it's a game, don't ever get to a point where you communicate to a real woman that she ain't going nowhere. She already done took losses and overcame those losses to know that she can bounce back from anything. If it truly ain't serving her, she knows that she can release it. It's going to hurt, but she can bounce back from that. She already lost people at one point in time she thought she couldn't live without. Whether it's a man, whether it's a loved one, she already know her heart is capable of healing again. That's a process she'd much rather go through as opposed to taking all the work that she's done, all of the distance that she's come, just within herself, just in life, and throw it all away because you think it's a game. Now, a real woman is not going to leave you the first time. I ain't never seen a real one leave a man the very first time that he made any mistake. I'm not talking about deal breakers, but I'm talking about, maybe he didn't take her serious one day. Maybe he didn't listen to her one day. Maybe something like that. He blurred a line one day. I ain't never seen a real one leave. What they do is they allow you the rope to hang yourself with your patterns. If you wanted to show her that ain't really where your heart was at, you could have did that after the very first time, made it right, been accountable, and continued on and never revisited whatever you did the first time. You waiting until after you establish a pattern with that woman and now come with all these explanations and apologies, brother, you're too little too late. Kristen said, next step is restraining order. I'm trying to tell him. Now, here's the funny thing. And it's really not funny. Like I said, these dudes get mad at me. They was all about inbox. For those of y'all just joining in, dudes was in my inbox heavy after yesterday, and I was telling y'all a real woman is not going to repeat herself, over and 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 over again. Yes, she's going to do it a couple of times. But after she exhausts all of the ways that she knows she should be able to communicate with an adult who has the free will to either act on that or not, at some point, she going to walk. Again, dude's still going to be mad at me, but I don't care. What I need my sisters to hear is this. Any man that's repetitively doing anything, it is beyond mistake. It is not a mistake no more. It's not even choice at a certain point. Now it's a way of life. Ladies, if a man is doing you any kind of way, after the first couple times, he's probably bragging about the fact that he can do you this type of way. There are other people who see him doing what he's doing. I need y'all to understand that. This for those of y'all who are on the precipice. You're on the cusp of being that highest version of yourself, but there's something still holding you back. Maybe some belief or optimism or something that's just really hurtful or fearful about making that move and releasing that man. Look, if you got somebody who's viable, who's putting in work, who's showing up, but he's imperfect, work with that man. I'm not bashing men, and I'm totally for family, restoration. So use your discernment. However, if you've been dealing with the exact same thing 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and this is something that's really hurtful to you, I'm letting you know it ain't a mistake no more. That man has made it a way of life to completely disrespect his woman, you. And if you're not careful, you're going to make the number one mistake loyal women make. And I talk about that. I just did a masterclass actually yesterday. So if you watched any of my others, you probably haven't watched this one. This is my newest masterclass, the number one mistake loyal women make. And I break down exactly what that is and how to avoid it. So you don't make that mistake, or if you already have, how to undo it now. That's a free masterclass, by the way. I'll put the link down here in the comments, also in the caption. But if you've been holding a man down, or that's the kind of love that you got to hold a man down. Like, you don't even like just jumping into a new relationship because once you locked in, you locked in. And it's hard for you to even trust that a man can handle that kind of power. You're what I would consider the loyal woman. That's who I'm talking about. That's who this masterclass is for. This free masterclass, by the way. So jump into that. It's about an hour long, so get comfortable because I dropped a lot of gems in that one. That's why we want to unpack it here. Lacey said, great masterclass. Thank you. I'm telling you, I don't play around with these masterclasses. The link is right here, though. Nonetheless, back to what I was saying. Fellas, please don't act like a woman ain't going nowhere. Please don't think that that woman can't do without you. Please don't think that, her whole world just revolves around you. Don't be so unfamiliar with the love and the presence of a real woman that you think you can treat her the way that you treated them. Don't be such a stranger to the blessing of a real woman. You fumble it because you thought she was one of them. You can't play the same game with her that you was playing with them. Well, at some point, she gonna unplug the controller. Hope that don't go over your heads. But those are just my thoughts. Ladies, if I said anything that you know was facts here in this conversation, all I ask is that you pay it forward. I'm not asking for your money. What I do ask is that you pay it forward by sharing it. Hit the share button. If anything that I said in this conversation was facts, hit the share button for me so somebody else in your timeline can also get this truth and be blessed by this the same way that you did. And if you want access to more, if you want more of this type of content, click the link down here. Brand new free masterclass. The number one mistake loyal women make. This gonna save a lot of hearts. This gonna save a lot of hearts, and it's absolutely free, by the way. I pinned it down here. The link is down here. Click that link, register. It's gonna send you an email, and you'll get linked in to the masterclass. I'm about to jump in the chat, matter of fact. So if you got a question for me you want me to answer, ask it down here in this chat. All right.